All right, everybody, welcome back to a lifetime of conversations across the pond today. This is exciting. Robert, it's our first international interview.
I know, this is pretty cool.
We're here with Matthew, otherwise known as Malficus. How do you want me to refer to you as?
Yeah, you can call me Mal or Matt, whichever you want to call me, really.
I might slip. I think it's hard. I think I've called you Matthew like 3 times in the, almost 15 years I've known you.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit weird if you do call me Matthew.
I don't think I can. It's like, it's hard. Like, it's Mal. You're either Malficus or nobody. Sorry.
I'll answer to Malf because that's fine.
All right. So how are you over there across the pond?
It's not too bad, not too bad. It's been a bit moist today, but when is it not raining in England?
I don't know.
Moist.
I've never been to England before. I really would love to go sometime.
Yeah, same here. Same here. We were trying to get Matt here to, or Matthew, or Mal, or goddamn, I'll just call you Matt.
Matt.
We've been
Call
trying
me
to
Matt.
we've been trying to get you here like for almost a decade to the United States to visit.
Yeah. No, it's not happened yet, unfortunately.
Yeah,
It's expensive, man. It's expensive to
yeah.
go
Well,
there.
it goes both ways. It's not like cheap and easy for us to go there either. So, but it's unfortunate. But we can do this, and this is at least a good second, I think.
Matt, have you ever been to the United States before?
No, I
No?
intended to at some point over the past 10 years, but it's just expenses get in the way. So
Yeah, I got it. But living in England is cool because you're like a stone's throw from other countries. Like you could visit like France, Italy, stuff like that, right?
my parents live in France.
Oh.
They live right on the German and Swiss border, so I get to go. I get to go on holiday over there all the time. So
That's cool. What town or city do you live in? Not London or what is it?
I live in a small city called Preston in the northwest of England.
That's cool.
It's
I'll remember
not.
that.
It's not Blackpool. It is definitely
Do
Preston.
not say it's Blackpool.
It's not. No, I said it's not. It is. It is Preston. I'm going to get it correct. I'm going to be right about this. Yeah, there's going to be no gamer shit talk on the podcast today because it doesn't fit the profile. You know, if we were rocking a game, we might shit talk a little, but so yeah, I really didn't know where we wanted to go with this interview. I mean, Rob, if you have questions, by all means, please ask. I know Mal for, you know what's crazy? And then just to give a slight backstory, I played online with Matt for, it's been since before my daughter was born. And like, or at least when she was born, 15 years. And I've never met the guy.
Really?
I was about to say, I think this is the first time that I've actually seen like a moving image of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Really?
I would almost say the same, but you're kind of frozen. I mean, you're partying in that picture. Let me tell you.
That's actually on top of one of the ski resort mountains near where my parents live in France.
Oh, wow.
Oh, is there? Oh, is that snow?
Yeah, that's snow behind me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's like fake snow. Right. Okay.
No, it's real snow.
Oh, is it? There's no other snow.
Yeah, actually, because it was a bit patchy. It was just starting to go get warm there, so all the snow is melting. It wasn't the middle of ski season, so
Cool.
I did go there in the middle of ski season and ended up going down to like my waist in snow. And I'm 6 foot tall, so and I know for a fact that my feet weren't touching the grounds.
Oh, that's
That's
funny.
funny.
Okay, so in France, do your parents live by any like famous wine regions? Because I really like wine, and I like
They
like,
literally live like I think they literally live in the Alsace region of France, so it's big for wine there.
Wow, that's so cool, man. I'd love to go to France. I love like red Burgundy. Like I like old school wines that like smell like grass. And, they're not really sweet. So that's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah.
I believe Matt's a pint of lager kind of guy, huh?
I've got 2 bottles of Shiraz right next to me, but I'm not drinking them.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
I'm more into my Spanish. I believe that Shiraz is Spanish. I think so.
Yeah.
Yes,
Argentina,
I believe it is.
Argentina, Spain.
Very nice. I think that wouldn't be my reason to go to France. Honestly, I don't have that many reasons to go to France, but I think it would just be just the scenery, just to be somewhere else. Like I'm not particular. Like people like, oh, the Eiffel Tower, or the vineyards. I would just want to take in the culture. I want to see the people. I want to see the regular everyday people go about their lives. I find that fascinating. I don't know why. It's kind of goofy, but like,
It's pretty much the area where my parents live. There's no real touristy stuff around there.
right.
There's a huge walled city called Belfort, which has a there's a big stone lion there that's like a monument that was made by the same guy who made the Mount Rushmore.
Really?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Huh. And you know what? Being an American, I've never seen Mount Rushmore. Rob, have you ever seen Mount Rushmore?
There really isn't much to see. You'll be driving down the street, you pull over, you look up at the sky, and like a mile away, you see what looks like something that's really tiny. And there's nothing, there's no touristy stuff there. There's no gift shop. There's nothing. It's just
Yeah.
you drive
I,
past it out.
I guess for the time, it was like a feat of engineering and monumental artistic, a big
Uh,
deal. But
Shit, I can't remember. No, it was a certain president that wanted to put it there to attract tourism or for money. I can't remember. I read about it. It was it's kind of stupid actually. It really doesn't even need to be there, but it's pretty cool nonetheless.
It sounds about as entertaining as Stonehenge is for us.
Yeah,
It's like
Oh.
you see on all like Doctor Who and stuff. You see them all being able to get really close up to the stones. You can't.
no,
It's,
not
it's like
anymore.
it's like a fence around it, and it's like a
Yeah.
kilometer away. You can just about make out the little like rock shapes. You're like, ooh, Stonehenge, and then just some guy in a
Yeah.
car drives along and says, "Hey, you can't park your car there. Carry on moving."
That's so weird. It's so weird. They don't want you near it because they don't want people damaging it or chipping off pieces as souvenirs.
They take the pieces of rock. That's the big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
most people don't, they don't think it is vandalizing. They want a souvenir, and it's like, okay, you just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It's funny you mentioned Stonehenge. It's one of my things. It's like one of those mystery things that I love. And that would be one of my reasons. Like, I would have to at least see it with a pair of binoculars from far away, even if I could. At least I'm closer than I would be from here. But you can get
Yeah.
better 4K images on the internet, like you were saying. There's a fence around it. Even the tours don't go that close. You're like, okay, all right.
Yeah, like growing up in New York, I mean, I never went to the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty. I drove past it and looked
Right.
at it, but that was
Right.
I don't
I know.
need to go in the Statue of Liberty.
I went up the I just drew a blank. I'm sorry, I just woke
Twin
up.
Towers, Empire
Yeah,
State Building.
The Empire State Building. I went up there once.
Yeah, I went up
all
there
the way up.
twice.
And you go to the top and you look over and you're like, yay, and then you take the elevator like 70 something floors down, and you're like, okay.
I swear to God, if I went up the Empire State Building, I'd be pinned to the wall. I wouldn't be able to look over the edge. I'd be like, this is a completely wasted visit. I'm just looking at the building next to me.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
I never went there until after I moved to Florida, and then I went to New York to visit. Then I went to the top.
Isn't that funny? I think that goes for no matter where you live. You
Yeah.
tend to take it for granted. Like it just becomes part of the scenery. So you don't really think, like, you don't see the awe, you don't see the special, piece of it until you actually leave, and then you're like, I should have done that. Damn it.
But when you get to the top, you would think that you'd be scared, but you're really not because you're looking at the tops of other buildings. So
Yeah,
kind
you're
of-
in a building, bro.
Yeah, you don't. And even when you look over the edge, we used to throw shit off of the Empire State Building.
I think that when it gets to a certain height, you just kind of lose the fear. Because if you're in a
Yeah.
plane, you get to a certain height, you're like, if I'm going to fall out the sky, I'm going to fall out the sky. There's not much I can do about it. But,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
and as soon as you get off of the elevator at the Empire State Building, you walk onto the observation desk. Do you know what it is? A gift shop.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Snow globes and postcards.
Because I need one of those. That's what I came there for.
What is that building even for? Is it like an office building, or is it literally
Yes.
just
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just so it's just an office building with a gift shop at the top.
yeah,
Almost.
basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And binoculars where you put a quarter in and then you
Yeah.
can look around the city.
Now, places like Chicago, a lot of them have like these new, like, do you ever see the glass where you
Yeah.
lean on it and then the glass goes forward, like about a 45-degree angle, and
Yeah.
you're leaning, looking straight down. Now,
Yep.
that would be awesome. I'd do
Ferris
that.
Bueller. Ferris Bueller had that.
There's
No,
a
he didn't. That
there's
Ferris
wasn't.
Bueller's Day Off. They were leaning their heads against it. It was so
Yes, they were leaning their heads against the glass, but these in the one, I forget where it is in Chicago. Is it the Space Needle? I'm not really sure.
No, that's
Washington?
Seattle.
One of them. There's a piece of glass. You step in, and the glass literally goes like this, 45-degree angle, and you're inside the glass looking down. Now that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, that's it.
In Blackpool, they have like a cheaper version of the Eiffel Tower that's not quite as tall, called the Blackpool Tower. And at the top of it, it's got this fucking glass floor that you gotta try and like walk across, and like it's not. I would never attempt to walk across it, even though it's like some sort of bulletproof glass that's like 5 inches thick, and you'd never fall through it.
Yeah.
But it is funny to stand there and watch people just crawl over it on their hands and knees because they're so terrified of falling through it.
At that point, what's the difference between walking across it and crawling across it? I never quite understood that. Like, it's one thing if you're on like a plank, right, and you need the support of the plank, but like, why are you crawling? That's not going to matter. I mean, whether you're falling standing or falling crawling, I think you'll be okay.
It's psychological.
Oh yeah.
So, it's like when you go to bed, why do you put the covers over your feet? Because the monsters can't get your feet if there's a blanket on top.
Right. Yep. I was thinking the same thing. Sure. Okay.
I still have to fling the blankets over my feet and under them so that my feet don't escape during the night, just in case the monster gets them.
See, he knows what I'm talking about.
Right. Okay. See, like, now, I'm not really sure if you've listened to much of our podcast or any of all. We don't really have an angle. We talk about whatever we want with whoever we want, and no holds barred. I didn't know if you had something you wanted to talk about, Matt, or you were okay with just asking questions. I mean, I'm sure you get all the American British questions all the time.
Not particularly. I mean, I was thinking about topics of conversations, and I was like, you can like the general ones, like if you could have a meal with 5 people of your choosing from any time of history, like celebrities kind of thing, who would you choose, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting.
Wow. So I would probably pick people that are dead, because the people that are alive, hey, if I write a nice enough letter, I might be able to get that dinner ring somehow.
Well, I think that's kind of implied in the people of history part, but go for it. Like,
but then again, there are people who are alive that no matter how nicely you ask them, they're not going to come for a dinner party with you, are you? Like, you're not going to be messaging like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, come down to mine for a barbecue.
I know. I keep bothering Elon. He won't talk to me. I mean, motherfucker. But what are you gonna do?
Well, then I don't want to have dinner with him. If I asked them nicely and they don't want to be my friend, fuck them. I don't want to be with their friend either.
I mean, it's kind of cheeky point, because everyone says. I bet everyone says Einstein, right? I want to eat with Einstein. I mean, that must be a really boring conversation for that poor guy. You imagine what normal people must be like talking like to people that are geniuses like that.
Oh, do you know what I would love to have dinner with Einstein? I'm like, you know what? Gravitational waves, 100 years after you predicted them, came true. He'd be like, "Oh, I knew it."
Yeah, that's true. Because if you got somebody from the past who, like say Einstein, and then you could let them know that their hypotheses were true, and they'd be really happy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if we talk about quantum, quantum gravity and quantum physics and shit, he would shit his pants. He just, at that point, he chalked it up to, spooky action at a distance. He's like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. Next, relativity.
It's like the idea of going back in time with a mobile phone. You go back in time with a mobile phone and show them that, like, if it still had connections to the internet. But then you told people from the past that, we use this to look at pictures of dogs and cats. They'd lose their shit.
Yeah, and then they burn you with the stake.
Yeah.
He's a witch.
Yeah, I always think I use the lighter analogy. Like, if you went back in time with a Bic lighter, that's it. You had he's got fire coming from his hand.
They'd be worse. They'd be on their knees.
Yeah, or you'd be strung up and killed. I mean, it really only goes 2 ways. You're praised or
that's how far you go back. If you go really far back, they'd praise you as being a god. But if you went to Salem, you'd be dead.
That is one place. I think we spoke about it with my buddy. I have been there, to Salem, and what they did to witches, and like, what, most of them weren't even witches. So to think going back too far, like I actually wouldn't really. I don't have that many famous people. I'd like to chat. Nicholas Tesla. I bet he was
Yeah, Nikolai
fascinating.
Tesla.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nikolai Tesla. Before he went crazy and married a pigeon, I bet
Yeah.
he was fascinating because he was
Didn't know he married a pigeon.
Yeah,
well.
he
I mean,
fell in love with a
it,
pigeon.
it was kind of a joke, but yeah, he fell in love with a pigeon at the end. He was living in New York in a penthouse, and he was in debt, and he had no money, and he was crazy, and he literally fell in love with a pigeon. Yeah, it was kind of sad, but
Nikolai Tesla is really popular in Niagara Falls in Canada. It's like pictures of him everywhere, statues of him.
he's very underrated, and he actually only became more popular in the last like 5 to 8 years because of most of his stuff becoming so relevant nowadays, and they're realizing that we kind of overlooked this guy, you know.
I hear all sorts of horrible things about like he invented a machine that could create earthquakes at any location on the planet, and he destroyed the plans for it. Just like, if that's real, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
Right, but
that is.
it is. But you got to think like all great science or technology or scientists or ideas, they're not all going to be perfect, and you can't come up with okay. The perfect example: we wouldn't have nuclear energy if we didn't have nuclear bombs. You know, I'm pretty sure Oppenheimer didn't feel that great about it, but if you went back and said, all right, well, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have nuclear energy today. We wouldn't have RTGs. We wouldn't have clean energy. Well,
Well,
relatively clean.
it was Einstein's fault, technically.
I mean, it was all their fault, you know.
E equals MC
Manhattan
square
Project.
is E equals MC square is the grandfather.
So wait. Who would you go back? What would be, let's say, one or two of yours, Matt? Who would you invite to dinner?
One of my people that they're not dead yet, but it's somebody that I feel like no matter how much if I sent them letters to come round to my house and have a meal with me, they wouldn't respond. It's Brian Blessed.
I don't know who that is.
He's a polar explorer.
Okay.
He's one of the few people in the world who survived a polar bear attack by punching it in the nuts.
Really? Wow. How do you even get to them? That's pretty hardcore right there.
Oh, I think they get,
he was in
they
the
get
Arctic
to you.
Circle. He was in the Arctic Circle in his tent sleeping. He woke up to be face to face with a polar bear, and yeah, he just punched it in the nuts apparently to scare it away somehow. I don't know how, but
what?
He's not Australian, is he? Because
no, he's English. He's
it
English.
just it seems like a really Aussie thing to do. I don't know, like you ever see,
those Aussies.
you ever see that video of the Aussie punching the kangaroo because it headlocked his dog?
Yep,
Like
yep.
he squared up with the motherfucker, gave it like a 2-1. He was like, blah, and the thing was like, like
Kangaroos are terrifying. Like
yeah.
apparently you can full on hit them with your car. That they'll be like crumpled into front of your car, and all they will be is pissed off.
Oh,
like
boy.
your car's totaled, they're just stuck in your car and they're angry at you.
Actually, speaking of Australian, I think I would invite Steve Irwin.
Oh yeah, he seemed like a really
mainly because just of
That's a
his
really good
passion. Shout. What's that? Do you know?
That's a really good shout.
Oh, okay. Well, because he was so passionate, and I don't think people really knew him. Like he had a really amazing TV presence, but I always wondered what he was like in real life. Like, is he really that nice? Is he really that good of a guy?
I bet he was a sweetheart. I bet he was a sweetheart. I bet he.
I do too, and that's kind of why. And he, he's a big guy.
Oh, you might know Brian Blessed. Did you ever watch Flash Gordon?
The movie?
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You know the guy who was like the leader of the Flying Monkey people, the guy with the big beard. It's like Gordon's alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's Brian Blessed.
Really?
I have to look it up. When we post this eventually on YouTube, I've been making videos out of it. I'll put a lot of video pictures up as references to the things we talk about. So it's tough for me to do it now. Usually, I draw up some references, but it's kind of early. I'm over here outside with my glasses because it's fucking bright, and I work a night job. So sorry.
So I was wondering, I know that the Queen had passed away recently, and it was kind of a big deal here in the United States. It was all over TV, and it was the topic of discussion for a little bit. I guess it was probably a pretty big deal over there, right? Like a president dying or something like that, to that effect.
Well, I mean, granted, the president dying would be a big deal over at your end upon, but it's a bit different because I think she was the queen for like 75
Yes.
years or
Yeah,
something like
for a
that.
long time. That's
So
yeah.
it's a bit different, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was a big deal over here. But
Mhm.
then again, I'm not particularly a royalist, so it didn't really affect me at all in any way, shape, or form.
Right. Which
Is
leads
that
me to another question. I mean, I know that the royal family, like it's a very sore topic for some people. Like over here, I made a joke about them, and there was people from England, and they got like really mad at me, even though it was like a harmless joke. But I mean, they don't really have any power. They're not like parliament or anything. They're basically kind of like celebrities, like the Kardashians are here in America, right?
No.
No.
So they are still in charge.
yeah. Yeah.
They open Parliament, they close Parliament.
Uh-huh.
Um, they basically the Prime Minister answers to them, but generally the Prime
Really?
Minister has the choices of what he wants to do,
Hmm.
and the royal family very rarely get involved. But if it's something like huge, like going to war,
Uh-huh.
the Prime Minister wouldn't really be able to do that without getting permission from the King or Queen.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I also imagine that wielding that kind of power, you got enough insight and people in your pocket that if you really had to pull the ace, you know, we like to think it's a
There are a bunch of
yeah
people who have won the genetic lottery, Dave.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
yeah
they've
yeah.
won the genetic lottery. They came out of a magic vagina.
Yep.
It's a pretty diluted genetic lottery at this point. I mean, isn't it? And not only diluted and mostly crossbred and I mean inbred and
There's an awful lot of German in there.
they're werewolves
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of you ever hear that one?
They literally had to change their last name. The royal family's last name is Windsor. I can't remember what it was before it, but they had to change it during World War One because it was too German.
It's too
Really?
German. That's so funny.
Wow.
It's that's one thing. Actually, it I guess if I could, and this is gonna sound terrible, I might invite Hitler to dinner.
Yeah.
You'd want to know. You'd want to know if history was correct. How we like you'd want to chat with him, even if you could hate him. You only know him for what he did.
Sure.
So like at that point, you get him before he did all that. Get into his head. Maybe you could understand a little more because I don't think anybody really does. Like history.
Oh, I mean,
You know,
the
not
amount of
that I'm not
science, like
promoting any of this, but
no. What he did was terrible things. But
right.
the
Yeah.
amount of scientific advancement that happened
Yep.
because of them.
Yeah.
Granted, once again, terrible people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of them
But
must be in the lowest depths of hell. They really should be. But like motorways and freeways, like
yeah.
they were invented during World War II by the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Autobahn.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again,
Hitler,
that's
yeah.
kind of the devil's advocate part. Like where people only look at, oh, why would you want to do that? It's like because you're looking on black and white. I see gray. It's always a gray scale. Walk the gray line, and then you can figure out the black and white side from the gray, because people, I don't think enough people see it that way. But
Well, you're gonna want to get Hitler like when he's in a good mood, though.
yeah, I always liked little Nicky's version of Hitler in Hell. Little
Oh,
Nicky with Adam Sandler.
The one
serious?
in the French maids.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in the
with
main costume,
pineapple.
and he has to shove pineapples up his ass for all eternity.
Yeah.
Great, perfect. Yeah, we'll take him right out of there, give him a break. Have him on the podcast.
That's good. There's no
Anyway.
pineapple on the table.
No.
I don't think I could pick five. I mean, I'm up to I think I got three so far, but
John Lennon,
oh yeah, there's
George-
got to be some music
George,
in here.
George Harrison.
Yeah, I think I would have Freddie Mercury.
Yes. Oh, I love
Okay.
Freddie
Why Freddie Mercury, by the way?
The lead singer of Queen, and he was
Yeah.
just generally an all-round amazing person from the sounds of it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. I know who he is. I
studied-
just don't know of him.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, he was one of the people that helped me learn how to sing. I studied his voice. There's so many different people that I tried to copy and study their voice. And I learned a tremendous amount from learning.
I'm not sure, Matt, if you know, like Rob. Me and Rob have been buddies since kindergarten. So over 40 years, we've been
Mm.
like really good friends, and we were music majors, and we both, were in music classes. So Rob is
Band.
heavily music orientated. So just as a
Okay,
little,
right.
little bit of side note there. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out in our podcast, A Lifetime of Conversation.
I've been trying to catch up on them. I listened to a bit of your video gaming one. You know, talking about all the old video games that you used to play and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that's right. We went
That was
through
a
over
classic.
all the different systems
Yeah,
and everything.
I put some time into that. There was a lot of like my own history, my own personal history in that. And that was why I think I felt so passionate about that because yes, I did research on history of video games, but it was more of like a personal history because I think
Yeah.
that's what it is to everyone. Because like when I say to you, like what are video games to you? Like what do they mean to you? What do they do for you personally?
For me?
Well, you don't play video games. I'm
No, I
talking
don't. Not anymore.
I would say mainly escapism. Like, in what world can I go? You know what? Today I'm going to go out and tame a T-Rex and ride around on a T-Rex for the next hour or so.
Right. Yeah.
Like recently, I've been playing Helldivers, which is essentially Starship Troopers on console, and
I know.
I can run around and kill thousands of bugs, and it's just something to escape after a day of work.
My buddy Greg and Damon have been trying to get me to play because it's cross play, and these days and that's crazy. We're all Coke and Pepsi. So I used to play with Matt when he was Malficus on Xbox, but then he moved to PC. Right, Damon and Greg and all my other friends, they were on PlayStation their whole life, and I never left Xbox. And that's pretty much where I'm going to be. I've already decided that's it. I can't. It's like up and moving to me. It's like you got to get up and pack all your stuff and go meet new people in a new town. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay here.
So you like your Xbox?
Me personally, yes. But even my kid, she's like, well, why don't you just get a PlayStation and have both? And I'm like, I gotta be honest, I did that my whole life. I had a Nintendo, I had a Genesis, I had a Sega Saturn, and I had a PlayStation. You had all like multiple consoles. I don't have time. I don't have energy. I'm too old for that shit. And I love
sound like Danny Glover and the Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for that
I know
shit.
you get a little old. It doesn't mean I don't love games. I'll do whatever. I support it. I talk about it. I do videos with them. I have fun with it. But Coke and Pepsi, man,
Yeah, I got you.
that's okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I just went to PC. It's way easier. I get games from both sides of the consoles, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
PC.
guess you could. Yeah, because you could have emulators, right?
Well, it's also
Mhm.
because most games start on PC. Like they're
Uh-huh.
created on PC and it's easier to work with. And once you do that, it's easier to, for the most part.
There's that's is it Small Worlds that you've been waiting to come out for a while.
Yeah, I just dropped another video yesterday on YouTube. I mean, I don't want to say I'm mad at it, but I'm just disappointed after all this time. It's a little,
Is it not very good?
it's fine. Let's just say that. I mean,
Oh no!
yeah, it was only $30. Okay, so it's not like a AAA $60 game. So if I had paid $60, I would be ranting and raving, pissed off. But I'm not. And also, they switched developers. They went to Merge Games back in 2020. So having to revamp after a new buyout is different. And God knows if the staff stayed. And there's all kinds of like political bullshit behind video games. But
Yeah, all sorts of stuff can go wrong, and
there really is. And people talk shit like, oh, games are for kids. And I'm like, it's a multi-billion-dollar business across the world. And if you think only children play video games, you are living under some kind of rock that is ancient because people are stupid. What you think? But there's a political world behind it, and it's all based on money.
yeah, my stepdad's 62 years old. He still plays Zelda. So
Yeah,
Oh my
awesome,
God.
it's
nice. They're the original.
no the new ones that are coming out. Like
Okay.
he's
Windwalker
he saw my brother-in-law playing Breath of the Wild, and
Breath of the Wild.
on the airport the way back to France, he picked up a console, picked up Zelda, and then yeah, he's been on it ever since.
I mean, Breath of the Wild. I bought a Switch just to play it, and it's phenomenal. It was fantastic. Like you can't go wrong. But I still think of the original Zelda, like playing on a black and white television in my basement that was probably 5 inches big. Right, it had like rabbit ears on it and a tuner. And that's why when I turned Old school.
You had a spinny thing. Mine just had like buttons that I had to stand up and walk over to the TV and
Yeah,
click,
yeah, I
click, click.
I remember.
Oh yeah, we had that too, but it was a dial though. You had to like click the dial.
All right,
and
click the
then
dial
you had
around.
to-
Okay.
And then you had to tune the dial. Like sometimes it was fuzzy, and you're like, "Oh, let me tune this thing," you know. And then later on in years, I did this for
Tuning in
different reasons.
Tokyo. Oh my god.
Uh,
So, okay, so Matt, we don't talk about politics on the show really ever because it's boring to me, honestly.
yeah.
But-
Well, we're also not
but-
overly political, but
No,
you know,
not
it's
at all.
fine.
But since I have somebody from England and I can get an honest opinion, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on here in America. It's a complete nut show. But I was just curious, it's a very polarizing topic in this country because the guy is, you know, crazy. But in general, is there a general feeling of what people in England think about Donald Trump? I know it's funny, but do they look
No,
at him
no, no, no,
favorably?
no. I understand what you mean. When he came over to England to visit the Queen and just do like a general tour, the people of England paid for a giant inflatable Donald Trump that was wearing a diaper to be flown above London.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, English
yeah.
people. That's amazing.
It was a tremendous diaper. It fit beautiful. Believe me, it fit very, very good.
Someone's got to change me. Oh my God.
Yeah, you know.
That's funny.
No, I thought you were going to bring up the whole potential civil war that's going to be happening over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
too. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean, we
that
could
was-
touch
that
on
was-
that.
Hey, man, go make a bucket of popcorn because you're gonna be seeing it on television.
Yeah, it's if that does happen, that's scary that a modern day Western civilization can be that bad that they decided to have a civil war about it.
Wouldn't last too long, believe me. We're
Yeah,
on
no,
the-
I can't.
You know what? I wouldn't say that because I'm pretty sure that they said the same thing in Ukraine, or at least Russia thought that about Ukraine. And we see how that ended up. And
Okay, we live here down in South Florida. Put the rednecks up against the people that think that men can get pregnant. Who do you think is gonna win that fight? The rednecks kicking their front door open with AK-47s and Uzi,
Yeah.
blowing them to
At
smithereens.
most, it's not going to be the entirety of the southern states, is it? It's going to be
Nah.
about 4 or 5 of them at most
Yeah.
that try and do something like split off into a separate country, and it's just not going to happen.
it's I think there's a lot of showboating, a lot of talk. I mean, it's a good way to get your point across, or at least to make people listen. I don't think even the people that talk about it want it to happen, because I don't think really anybody wants that. But it is a good tactic, I guess. You know.
Florida
But
kind of
listen-
is its own country in a way.
Well, I don't want to cut it short, but we do have to take a short break. We're going to come right back and pick back up. So just hang with us, and we'll be right back with a lifetime of conversations.